And we are back with a beautiful, beautiful matchup. Today we have, for round two, quite an interesting matchup of Uda versus Sakazuki. Now, honestly, this can go. Yeah, sorry. So this is going to be quite an interesting matchup. I believe this can go 50-50 of one or two ways. Honestly, it kind of think me personally, I think it relies on Sakazuki being able to have all of those outs for the multiple spam board potential that is Uda. Also, I think it really just comes down to what type of build Uda runs. Now, a lot of Uda builds obviously go for 8-drop Kid, so I wouldn't see it really any differently. But does Hank, run to 10-drop, Dolphy to stall. Honestly, we're going to see here. But with Saka, we all know how Sakazuki go. Sakazuki has the multiple outs, whether it is with the Rebecca Hina, Lucci, whether it's Gecko Moria, Brenu, Tashigi to search also. Like, honestly, we're gonna see Sakazuki almost all day. So let's get comfortable with seeing him all day. That's how I view this. But what we're gonna go ahead and see starting off is the good turn one of Sakazuki having the Brenu right there. Because if it's not Brenu, it would have been double Tashigi, because that's what it just seems like every Sakazuki player gets. But they have quite a bit of options here, and they're going to go ahead and grab Tashigi, trashing the Borsalino, which honestly, I've seen a lot of people cut down to 0, if not 1 or 2s, which is quite interesting. I think they're really, really good for the mirror match. But Uda is also seeing a really beautiful turn, seeing that new Genesis, which is basically just if you have one Dawn, it's a free search, and it is a beautiful search at that. So this is really, really good. And then we're going to see there is that 3-cost event that basically just restands Uda, which is really, really good. Basically, it has the capabilities of the... Oh, wow, another new Genesis. Wow, just digging deeper. I think, honestly, that 3-drop event to restand Uda definitely has made that deck. It definitely makes that deck something to be very much painful. I think that's the best thing. Like, a lot of thing is that I guess our opponent here is questioning what that card is that was drawn, because that is an alternate art of the normal card that is in the starter deck. But yeah, what we're seeing here is honestly just a really, really good turn. Honestly, having a double search and you still have 3 Dawn is definitely better. I think a third New Genesis is actually insane. Wow. Honestly, I'm quite stunned about that. I'm not gonna lie. Triple search on turn 1 and you still have 3 Dawn. Honestly, couldn't ask for anything better as an Uda player. But what we're going to go ahead and see here is the 2-drop Law being played. Do not understand why it is in rest, but it should be active. But what we're going to see is a backlight drawn from the Uda swinging. If you don't know Uda's ability is that when attacking with the Dawn attached, you look at the top of your deck. If it is a film type, you get to add it to your hand for the free. So Backlight is a really good card as well. That is the alternate art. But Backlight does one of 2 abilities. It can either pop a 5 or less that is rested, or it can rest something that is 5 or less. So really, really good. Definitely would be something to have in the back burner for game potential, especially with the I'm invincible to restand Uda. That's kind of one of those 2-card combo to end game states if your opponent just has that 1 blocker left. But passing it back over to the Sakazuki, trashing that Tashigi is quite interesting, I will say. But maybe something different going on here. But we do see a 5K swing from Sakazuki himself onto Uda. Uda's going to go ahead and take that life. And then we're going to see a 4-drop play. Is it going to be a... Kuzan. Interesting. That is... Yeah, Kuzan's definitely going to be the way to go here, especially more later game state when Uda starts dropping the 7-drop, which goes into a 4 or 7-drop into the 3-drop blocker. Definitely Kuzan is something that Uda has to now start respecting. They are under 5 Dawn turns, so we're not going to see that Luffy just yet. But it does kind of put Uda on the back burner to figure out what they're going to do with this turn. But we will see a Trafalgar Law swing for 5. And what we're most likely going to see is a Trafalgar Law being bounced to hand with paying 1 Dawn and probably playing something else. But Sakazuki does counter out of that swing. And I wouldn't put it past me if we see a nice little wombo combo here. We're going to see the 7K swing with Uda. Look at top deck. Getting the 7-drop Luffy that we just talked about just a minute ago is definitely something that is going to be brought up later for sure. Sakazuki does take that life. And now what we're going to see is the Trafalgar Law being activated to play the Uda blocker. Interesting. So for those who don't know what 2-drop Law's ability is, when you pay 1 Dawn, you can bounce that Law back to hand, and you must play a 3 cost specifically from hand. So what a lot of Uda players have been seen doing is you'll see the Draco Mihawk to play Brook to play something else, or you'll see the Nami being played, or you'll see the Uda. So you have about a good couple options to be played from this deck. It's definitely something that has seen play in this Uda build. Now back to the Sakazuki though. There is that Kuzan. Now, I wouldn't put it past me if Kuzan decides to keep that hand, or to keep that Kuzan active and wait for the 7-drop turn to follow up. Only because it's that ability of when attacking a -4 is just too good of a condition. And Uda blocker is not something crazy to have to deal with right now. I think that's what I would see going as a Sakazuki player right now currently. But we do see the 5K swing from Saka. Question is, what is going to happen here? So we're going to go ahead and see that block, which is really, really smart, truthfully, because it is one of those things where it is most likely going to leave if you don't go ahead and use it. So use it when you can, you know? Now with 7 Dawn. Oh, I apologize. 6 Dawn. What do we do here? You have quite a bit going on. It's a number of things that can happen, but interesting. So we're going to go ahead and see the Brenu swing for 5, which, I mean, hey, if you got them, why not use them? Which is going to be countered up by that Law that we just saw being bounced back to hand in the previous turn. Now for 4, are we going to possibly see a Hina, a second Kuzan, a Borsalino? There's quite a bit of options that can happen here. But interestingly enough, we're seeing a 5K swing with Kuzan. No ability. And Uda's going to go ahead and take that. And we're probably going to see another Kuzan. Yep, to follow up. That does it. That would do it. Because it's one of those things where it's... if you didn't have a second Kuzan, it would not have been the greatest thing to, you know, swing with Kuzan if you know that your opponent's going to play 7-drop following turn. But now playing a second Kuzan, it's definitely a little harder for the Uda player for a number of reasons. One of which is like that's the 4th New Genesis. Yeah, having double Kuzan on board, you have to try to get rid of both of them. Otherwise, playing the 7-drop is it's kind of, I don't want to say pointless, but it kind of is painful. It makes you feel like you waste your turn. But definitely a 5K swing is what we're about to see here. And I believe that swing is going to be towards life and not towards the Brenu or the other Kuzan. So I'm interested to see what happens here. Definitely interested to see what the fans. Okay, so we're going to see the 7-drop to Brook to blocker. Now, definitely I can see this being still the way to go I do believe that we're about to see some of these blockers leave, though. Unfortunately, having double Kuzan, it could easily be a man. Honestly, there's quite a bit of combos lines that I can be seeing down here as Sakazuki player. The biggest thing being that you can see a Kuzan swing to lead. Actually, I don't know. This is an interesting turn for Sakazuki, I will say. I definitely will say. Let's see how this goes. We're going to see the 5K swing from Kuzan, and I believe what's going to be minus is the 7-drop Luffy, which is definitely a way to go. And yep, go ahead and block with it. Why not? Especially if you're about to lose it. And then we're going to go ahead and see the other Kuzan swing. Now the question is he going to go ahead and minus the Luffy again? Is he going to minus the Brook? Is he going to minus the Uda? There's a couple things that can happen here. I think what we could be seeing in just a minute is a Lucci play, which I could definitely see happening, or even probably an 8-drop Gecko possibly. There is, I believe, a Lucci in trash. And yep, we see the Luffy minus down to 2. Uda took the life on that swing there. And I would not put it past me if we see an 8-drop happening right now. So what I believe that is his way of signaling that he has used leader ability, which is pretty smart. Honestly, I haven't seen that one yet. Flipping leader from alt to normal. But he went ahead and trashed the Great Eruption, interestingly enough. He is at 8 done, so maybe he's searching for the 8-drop Gecko. He doesn't have it. I could see that being a thing. But now he's spacing out his Dawn to see just a couple combo lines. So we're going to see another 5K swing onto lead. Minusing onto the Brook, interestingly enough. Okay, that's fair. And we're going to see a counter out of that. Ooh, and now what we're going to see here is that beautiful event that has been added into the arsenal of Sakazuki to bottom deck both cards, which it is not a Rob Lucci, but it is basically we have Rob Lucci at home, and it definitely still is painful to see. And then we're going to see Bernoud still put in work with another 5K swing, interestingly enough, which is going to be counted out with another Uda blocker. And then we're going to go ahead and see the Rebecca grabbing. Let us see what's grabbed, honestly. Truth be told. Oof. Yeah, the Hina to just... Spamming board right now is definitely something that I believe Uda would like to do a lot more of. But this is definitely not looking too good on Uda's end. For sure, only because that's such a board. 2 Kuzans, the Bernoud's even putting in work, and Ahina, you have 4 to possibly 5 swings happening, and we're gonna see an interesting play here of the Uda blocker putting in some wheels over here, swinging 7 to leader. Honestly, as the Uda player, yeah, there's a lot that could be done. I think that kind of gave away he's not running 10 drop. Well, he does still have one Dawn left. I do apologize on that. All right, and he does swing 8 with Uda lead, and he does whiff on that with the Draco Mihawk, which I believe is something he would have loved to have seen earlier with the Law play. And we're going to go ahead and see the restand of I'm Invincible that we saw earlier occur, swinging again for 8 and passing there. And honestly, this is not looking so good for Uda here. You're about to see Sakazuki come back into play with 4, potentially 5 swings. It is definitely, yeah, either we're about to see a really good turn or something really truthfully crazy unfold. Oh wow, trashing the Gecko Moria is quite interesting. But honestly, in a game state such as this, I mean, Uru only has 1 card out there, so it's not like you need to play Gecko to remove board. So definitely, I can see that being something for sure. Now, question is, how are we about to see this? I believe we're about to see a 5K swing over to the Uda blocker. That would require Uda to dish a 2K to save. Now the question is, yep, Sanji. And Sanji is such a good, interesting card to have been made a film type. Sanji's ability with 1 Don attached, for every 3 rested Don, it gains power. Quite interesting. It's a little weird interaction, but it's something. For one, it's another searchable 2K for sure. And we see a 5K swing with Hina, and Uda does take that. Interestingly enough, now I guess the question falls down to is just because Uda does not have any more counter, or just building up hand to be able to counter and save for game. We do see another 5K Kuzan swing, another 2K dished out from a 5K swing. Kind of reveals to Sakazuki what's that hand looking like, honestly. So another 5K swing, it is taken. And I mean, are we about to see a Bernu finish the game out here? That'd be quite interesting. Wouldn't put it past, but you know, if you have the cards, you have the cards. Let's see what happens here. He does have the full 10 done to go here. So if that does occur, it is a 13K swing with 6 cards potentially to counter. I don't know, was Uda bluffing, saying that, you know, I don't have, I mean, this is 2K for this 5K swing, make you think I don't have anything, so you can go with Bernu and I can just counter out galore, you know? But yeah, no, I think Sakazuki's about to put it on Bernu and just see if they have it. And in this case, they don't have it. GG's from both players for sure. Sakazuki comes out on top, definitely finishing out with Bernu with a 13K swing, which is something something that, you know, you put it on Uda to have. And yeah, in a perfect world, it would really require Uda to have the rest of their 2Ks. So definitely kudos to both players for sure. Uda definitely did try to do the best that they can, but seeing a Sakazuki double Kuzan and then Rebecca and Nahina, yeah, it's something that's very hard to get around. So definitely kudos to both players, and congratulations to Peter with the dub over here over Hank playing Uda. Yeah, that Kuzan's just ate his board alive. I definitely agree. But by all means, we will be back with round 3 very, very shortly. We are still about mid-round for the rest of the players. Just happened to be more of a quicker of the match. But by all means, stay tuned. Grab some drinks, grab some popcorns, grab your notes. Because once you start getting to these higher tables, you're about to see a lot of players doing some crazy combo lines that you just may have never seen before. So even if you are a competitive player, a casual player, this is something that you definitely will not want to miss. So by all means, stay tuned, and definitely we'll be right back.